An effective organization is one that has provided employees the responsibility and authority to make decisions for nearly all aspects of production and marketing. Employees that have been empowered generally have better motivation and self-esteem, an increase in sense of ownership in the business, and tend to get along better with their colleagues. I'm Dr. DeBusk, and this video will focus on leadership and coordination, managing a workforce, and employee motivation, evaluation, and rewards in the nursery industry. Leadership and coordination involves those activities that are needed to keep an organization heading on the course it was designed or that it chooses to follow. Leadership relates to activities within a unit, whereas coordination relates to activities between units. One effective means of leadership is to develop and publish an employee handbook for standard procedures and policies. Employee handbooks are common in large nurseries, and many smaller firms are finding that they can be useful as well. It is best developed in coordination with key employees and staff advisors. Another leadership mechanism is to set attainable goals with the appropriate employees for each functional unit. Depending on the type of unit, the goals may be daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal, or yearly. For a digging crew, daily goals may be the number of trees dug daily. For a propagator, it may be X thousands of cuttings per month, season, or year. And for the production and sales managers, the goal may be X number of plant species per season. For the general manager, the goal is at least in part dollars of profit or return on investment. If employee teams are involved in the research and development of more efficient production methods, the goals may be the increase in productivity per person. Because there are objectives to be obtained, there must be some form of reporting. Records and reports are another means that managers use to lead their operational units. Records and reports should contain accurate, up-to-date information if they are to be valuable to the manager. Collecting and processing data that are not needed in making management decisions is a worthless practice and should be discouraged. Collecting data that, when processed, will be used as a basis for future planning and management decisions is an implied responsibility of all levels of management. If data is to be used for rewarding or reprimanding employees, it is important that the data be difficult to modify to reflect what the employee doing the reporting believes the manager wishes to see. Two excellent tools that can be used by management as a guide to labor productivity are the productivity table for individual performance as seen on the slide, and the labor requirements table for crew performance as seen in the next two slides. Both are developed from labor productivity records maintained by the crew or team leader. For this example, A shows the number of evergreen plants dug per labor hour based on the size of the plant. The data was based on a 6 to 10 worker digging crew and included carrying out unloading on pallets. B shows the number of balled and burlap trees dug per labor hour based on tree caliper. This data was based on an 8-worker crew and included burlapping, topping, and tying tops. The data from records kept on the various functions performed within a nursery can be processed into meaningful information that can be used in planning labor needs, estimating future costs of production and cash flow requirements for the business, and evaluating production. This table is an example of how raw data can be converted into a more meaningful unit. Average labor hours per 1,000 trees. This can also identify the most time-effective methods for doing activities such as pruning with pole trimmers compared to step ladders to improve efficiency. This table measures time for digging operations. This information can guide the purchasing of equipment, as well as you can see from the time it takes to use the different digging equipment. The next slide shows how these tables can be converted into a graph. Digging and planting of large trees varies considerably by the size of the ball and the type of equipment used. Therefore, average labor hours to dig and plant shade trees have been converted to graphs, which can be used to estimate labor hour requirements when digging and planting large trees. The data were obtained from a number of sources and are not intended to be standards. Data should be collected by each nursery. Most large production nurseries employ large numbers of non-English speaking workers to perform the many physical skills associated with the production of nursery stock. To accomplish the task of managing this unique group of people, particularly ones with different values and culture, and to encourage them to become both productive and satisfied workers and to integrate them into the native workforce requires a person of special talents. These talents include the following: must be bilingual in English and the language spoken by the non-English speaking workers. Must be thoroughly familiar with the legal requirements for bringing foreign workers into the U.S. and other requirements imposed by state and local governments. Must be familiar with the various nursery-related skills that the workers will be expected to perform when working for a nursery, and must be thoroughly familiar with the cultural mores of foreign workers. The duties of the leaders of a non-English speaking workforce includes verifying the documentation of all foreign workers, arranging transportation for the non-local workers and their families from their homes to the nursery and for their return back home at the end of their period of employment, arranging for the work contracts for the foreign and or non-English speaking workers, including the time period that they will be working for the nursery, the hours per day of work, the rate of pay per hour, medical benefits, and other related duties, and benefits that may be related to their employment by the nursery, and monitoring any misunderstandings between the non-English speaking workers and the nursery representatives. A good nursery manager is cognizant of the fact that the most important factor of production relates to the employees. The manager must always remember that employees are people and that they have needs, aspirations, skills, and ideas and must always be treated with respect. It is how the manager perceives employees, satisfies these needs, and fully utilizes their skills that determines to a large degree the productivity of the employees and, ultimately, the success of the business. Motivating, evaluating, and rewarding employees are important management functions. The three functions are closely interrelated. For example, a spontaneous statement such as "well done," "a good job," or "excellent," made by a manager as an evaluation of employee performance is one of the most appreciated rewards and one of the best positive motivators that is available to management. But all too often, its impact and value are overlooked. The proper and timely granting of employee rewards can have a major impact on the success or failure of the business. An application form in the appropriate language should be used for most positions. The form serves a number of functions: to obtain personal data on the applicant, pertinent information on the applicant relative to the position, a history of previous employment, and if applicable, a statement of the applicant's expectations. The form also screens out those applicants who do not meet the basic requirements. A follow-up interview provides a nursery manager with a second opportunity to evaluate the potential employee. At this time, managers should also explain the unique characteristics and philosophy of the nursery and try to determine if the applicant has the desired qualifications for the position. Once an employee has been hired, he or she should undergo training appropriate to the position and the person's background. All too often, managers fail to train new employees properly. The initial period after a person joins a nursery is extremely important to both the person and to the nursery. New employees must learn what is expected of them and how far they can proceed on their own. Also, the employer must learn how to best motivate the new employee and how much responsibility can be delegated to the employee as he or she matures and develops as a productive part of the labor management team. Young people, especially those who devoted 2 or more years of their lives to obtaining a college education, may need training in the work ethic. New employees will need to serve a period of apprenticeship, learning the art and skills associated with the nursery industry, a probation period. Every employee is entitled to have his or her performance evaluation, to receive praise and advancement for work well done, an understanding of what constitutes failure, and reprimanded for unacceptable behavior or performance. After working for a predetermined period, the new employee should be evaluated. The duties and responsibilities and procedures for evaluation and reward should be outlined in an employee handbook in the first language. The employee should be commended for accomplishments and counseled in areas or skills that could be improved upon. Also, when appropriate, an increase in salary should be given, since incentive of pay is an important means of rewarding good performance. Hourly workers are evaluated on the basis of quantity and quality of production. In most nurseries, management sets standards of quality. In some establishments, the quality standards are high, and others, the quality is low to meet the customer's expectations for cost. Nevertheless, the objective set for workers is generally some type of daily goal, and the compensation is wages paid an hourly rate. In establishments where quality of performance is appreciated, superior performance should be provided with additional rewards, such as a rate of pay greater than the average or a bonus paid at the end of a season or at some other predetermined time period. Most growers who have tried work incentives found them to be effective and continued using them. Most incentives are a piece rate for work accomplished. Effective incentive programs balance two principles. Greater work effort should result in increased earnings, and greater employee earnings should result in increased profit for the nursery. Nursery workers in an incentive program should be protected from negative consequences of factors out of their control. Once incentive pay levels are set, they should never be changed to the employee's loss. Any changes should benefit the employee and the nursery. Nursery employees should be involved in setting up incentive programs and in their review. Skilled workers also work with materials, but the jobs are more demanding of technical knowledge and ability. Examples are budding and grafting, application of fertilizers and pesticides, and operating equipment such as tree diggers. Many hourly employees will want to move up to skilled workers when they have acquired a degree of technical knowledge and the appropriate skill level. Management should clearly indicate what the opportunities are for advancement, what knowledge and skills are needed, and how they can be obtained. Skilled workers are evaluated on both the quality and quantity of their performance. Their earned rewards may include, in addition to a higher wage rate, such fringe benefits as days off with pay, paid vacation, and health insurance. Various supplementary rewards may be an expense-paid trip to professional meetings or an opportunity to obtain additional training at company expense. Crew leaders are the first level of management. They are charged with the responsibility of getting a job done, which requires the managing of people and materials. Therefore, one of the crew leader responsibilities is to motivate, evaluate, and reward the workers. Like others in management, crew leaders are evaluated by their superiors on how well they get the job done. Being a crew leader includes the responsibility of maintaining records on the use of the resources, workers, and materials for whom he or she is responsible. It is important that management have productivity data to evaluate the crew's performances and to evaluate alternative systems and equipment. The crew leaders' earned rewards are similar to those of the skilled labor: higher salary, various fringe benefits, and so on. In addition, there should be certain supplementary rewards for jobs that are well done, particularly under adverse situations, weather, time, and shortage of personnel. These supplementary rewards may be a cash bonus or a gift appropriate to the person or the situation. Care must be exercised in giving a bonus on a regular basis. It can easily become an expected reward. Crew leaders should seldom be evaluated on a monetary productivity basis unless they control all the factors that influence productivity. They should be evaluated only on their ability to use those factors they are responsible for. A crew leader in charge of a digging crew in a nursery is provided with a mechanical tree digger, a crew of workers, and the needed materials such as burlap, wire baskets, pinning nails, twine, and so on. The job is to harvest a certain number of trees per day, or week, or season. Implied within the objective is that the trees be firmly balled and that no damage can be done to the trees being dug or to the trees that remain in the block to grow on to larger sizes. This objective is obtained, assuming that it was attainable. The reward is a monthly salary. However, if performance is above average, the job was done in less than average time, and the customers are pleased with the exceptional quality of the product and service provided by the crew leader should be given a reward, generally praised and/or given a bonus. The crew leader in turn should praise the workers and share a portion of the bonus with them. The bonus for productivity and quality production must be documented. Your crew leader and crew must have control of the process and have the ability to develop better systems, better methods, and evaluate equipment to increase quality and productivity. An empowered team management system combined with a bonus or profit-sharing plan is one of the most effective employee motivation systems. A crew can be evaluated by observing them on the job, by comments from the customer, and from digging records of number of trees dug and the labor hours utilized to accomplish the job. From the digging records, the nursery superintendent or manager will calculate average times to dig and process trees of various size and harvesting costs for plants of various sizes. With wage rates and costs of supplies, and equipment, the efficiency of the production system can be determined and appropriate changes made in the system. Similar types of evaluations can be made for all the divisions of the nursery if the goals or objectives are clearly defined. In conclusion, hopefully you learned the part that people play in the nursery business. Records and reports allow managers to make decisions about products and people. Motivating, evaluating, or rewarding the crew is one of the most important parts of a successful business.